Hey everyone, Lee Goldstein here, the Trading Director at 10 Minute Trades. I want to welcome you to the podcast, episode 45, and I'm going to recap the week that ended on October 21st. So enjoy the video, and I'm going to go over most of the events that took place in our trade room this week. So let's briefly talk about the market opens. Gold and oil, they have been increasingly becoming more and more challenging to trade just on signals. So we do have an alternative range setup we're looking at, and we are looking also at possibly trading around the opens a little bit more than just trading at the exact open. What that means is we might look at the open 20 minutes before on oil and gold. So it's just something to keep in mind. They have been much more challenging to trade. And markets change all the time, so it's not unusual that a setup has to be modified. It's very common that that occurs. Now, we started out in our trade room Monday and we were looking at Empire State Manufacturing. That's a small under the radar report. We have that listed as a watch. And a watched report means that maybe it's a report we haven't traded with a DMM. We don't have a daily report for it yet. Or maybe it's a report we used to trade and its impact has gotten less. Or maybe it's a new up and coming report that we want to watch and see if it becomes worthy of a daily market mover trade report. Empire State Manufacturing just didn't have a really good follow through. The news came out on time, but it's still a report just to watch. Don't recommend really trading it. We tried to do Goldman Sachs earnings, and it really just didn't have that much of an impact on the indexes. We don't trade the specific stock, so Goldman Sachs this particular quarter did not have that much of a move. I'm going to talk about earnings a little bit later in this video. That was on Tuesday morning at 6:15, and then we had the API report on Tuesday, and the news never came out for like 20 minutes. It was a very strange situation, so we did not have a trade on the API. The range trade, the trade number one on API, we've been taking a break from it as it has not been performing well. And our secondary trade, which has been fabulous for months, we didn't get the news result, so we didn't have a setup. So API was a no trade this week. Then on Wednesday, we were very surprised by the reaction to building permits and housing starts. It had a gigantic move using just a 6-tick bracket. So it had been a report that I wasn't interested in trading at all. And I think because of the attention that's being placed on the housing market due to inflation and the Fed, that the report moved a lot because of that. And the building permits and housing starts were a little bit better than expected. So it was surprising a little bit. Same thing with existing homes. They were a little bit better than expected. Actually, on building permits and housing starts, if I remember correctly, the news was mixed. In other words, it was up and down on the two different elements that make up the report. The market went down on that report, but it was a very, very tradable move. Then on Wednesday, we also had Canada Core CPI, and our setup was just too tight, and it was a trap trade with a bigger stop. It would have been a great trade. Our stop was too small, and our tiers were too small. Our orders were too tight. It was just too much volatility. So we learned a lesson for the final time. All of our Canada and Australia trap trades are going to have much bigger, wider setups to protect against moving through a stop on those trades. Crude oil inventories, we took the week off because of the performance of the past 6 weeks, and it was a good week to take off. It would not have been a very profitable trade. The 20-year bond auction, the thing about these bond auctions, all of a sudden they're starting to trade a little bit better. The 20-year bond auction was a beautiful winner. And then we segued right into the beige book on Wednesday. We had a lot of trades on Wednesday. We went right to the beige book, and the beige book had a target one breakout on the NQ possible winner. Beige book has now had 3 months in a row where it has a possibility of an NQ breakout. So I think that we'll give it a shot next session for the beige book. And then we're going to talk earnings at the end of this video. We did also trade Australia's employment report. we had a full day of trades on Wednesday. Building permits, Canada CPI, the oil opened, crude oil inventories, the 20-year bond auction, beige book, Tesla earnings, and then by the time we got into the trade room for Australia's jobs report, we were exhausted, and we had a small winner as a trap trade on the Australia jobs report. Didn't really move that big. There wasn't that much of an opportunity on it. And then Thursday, we were back in the room at 8 o'clock for unemployment claims in Philly Fed. That Thursday trade is not a regular occurrence. In other words, we don't trade unemployment in Philly Fed normally, but we were in the room doing the gold open and the oil open, so we always still like to look at those events to see if they're worthwhile trading come, a future week. And gold hit a single target on the range trade for unemployment, and we have not been recommending the NQ for that setup anymore. We're looking at gold as a possible alternative. It did hit target one, but still, unless Thursday news is very big, impactful reports, we don't recommend trading the smaller events on Thursday at 8:30. The oil open on Thursday had a decent move. And then existing home sales, another report that's on watch, had an excellent trade. It was surprising. It took us by surprise. The news was a little bit positive, and existing homes had a very good move. And then we ended the day on Thursday with natural gas storage. There was mixed volume. We are still watching natural gas. It's had 5 winning weeks in a row. 5 winning weeks in a row. It's just been on fire as a very safe looking trade. Friday, we finished out the morning with the new range trade set up on gold and oil. It looks very interesting, although oil just was exploding at the open and worked with signals as well. Canada retail sales had zero impact, zero. And that was the end of our trade rooms, normal trade rooms, I would say. Kind of a strange week, not a gigantic amount of huge impact reports, except for the most important thing that we're going to talk about in this recap, and that is earnings. It's earnings season. And I've been looking at a lot of new setups. Goldman Sachs was a new setup, and that one wasn't a big money maker. Verizon was a new setup we were looking at this week, not much of a move. But members looked at American Express, not having a trade room yet, but next quarter, definite trade room. American Express had a very big move on the YM. We traded in the trade room Netflix, of course, which we trade every quarter, and Tesla. And both of them were very big winners. Our company made over $1,000 on the Tesla trade. Eric made money on it. I made money on my account. Members in the room, a couple of members, one of our members made over $1,000 on Tesla. We had an excellent Tesla trade, and we had a great Netflix trade. Both of our trades were over $500, not trading huge amounts. And I wanted to just talk for a minute. It's earnings season next week. We've got Apple and Amazon and Intel and Microsoft, Facebook, Meta. It's going to be an exciting week of earnings plays, and I just wanted to make sure that you all know that you could take advantage and join with us at a very reasonable price. TradeEarningsNow.com, www.tradeearningsnow.com. Make sure that you sign up with us because the earnings sessions are in a separate area, a new service, TradeEarningsNow.com. Definitely hit that link and join up with us. So far, we are 2 for 2 on the big ones, Netflix and Tesla. I'm anticipating that we'll have extra setups this quarter. We'll probably be looking at NVIDIA. We looked at it last quarter. Snap, unfortunately, we couldn't do the earnings room, but that is an absolute, looking like a great setup as well. So we're really excited for the earnings. We're doing more and more setups. So www.tradeearningsnow. Join. You have time to take advantage of this special until Monday at midnight to join with us for this Q3 earnings. And we have some bonuses. You'll get a free month subscription to our software. So if you're a NinjaTrader user, you can trade exactly the way we do on these earnings reports. So I hope that you'll take us up on this. We've been trading earnings for years. Trading futures is a unique way to trade earnings. We're not doing options, we're not doing stocks. We use the NinjaTrader platform. We have a really unique method of trading earnings. So, big stock earnings. My name is Lee Goldstein, Trading Director at 10 Minute Trades, episode 45 of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the trade room.